Hello, everybody. Hello, world. I feel like everybody says, I don't really know how to start this. Okay, well, I'm Jordan, and I am your new leader. Totally kidding. I'm Jordan. I have been meaning to do this for so long. I've been writing a lot of music, composing it, and myself writing the lyrics, but they haven't necessarily gone anywhere. And I'm kind of sick and tired of not sharing it with the world because I think it's about due time that I actually put out my work product instead of sitting on my work product all day and night and for years to come. Because, God, that'd be such a disservice. So here I am on YouTube. I don't like do social media. I don't even have an Instagram, don't have a TikTok, don't have any of that stuff, don't have like lighting. I just have a big window that I'm sitting in front of with my piano. So I figured, what if I share my music and go through why I wrote what I wrote, what I was going through, the times that I was writing some of this stuff, the meanings behind it, just so you guys can kind of like get who I am and where I'm coming from, how my brain works, how it processes things. So some of the fun ways that I've actually, really, this is the best ways that I've always written music is by banging on my piano, knowing actually no note, doing absolutely nothing, because that's the other thing. I cannot read music, but I can hear it. So I just bang on like literally sounding like this until I essentially find the notes or the melody that I really like. Usually I end up getting into this trance-like state and just playing and playing and playing until the words just kind of spew out. So all of this music is written that exact same way. Just hearing and listening to, I don't know, just whatever I just explained. So the song that I figured this would be the first one that I dish out. This one is called My Cue. And My Cue was, honestly, take it away, other Jordan, because I already made one half of the video. I just did the intro like this side up, and I figured, wait, on YouTube they watch it like this. So I said, let me go ahead and get myself all situated. So take it away, other Jordan. Alrighty, so to give you guys a little bit of backstory on My Cue. My Cue was about the first, I don't necessarily want to call it relationship because it wasn't something that was official, but it was the first situationship that I've ever had because I just watched a leaf just go all the way up. It was when I had first lost my virginity when I was 21, and it was over the summertime before I was heading into my senior year of college, of undergrad at the University of Tennessee. And, you know, I had always been very selective in who I allow into my life. And I just so happened to meet this person at a bar. And they were actually one of the very few people who's been confident enough to just come up to me and just kind of like say, hey, I think you're really attractive. I think we should exchange numbers. And, you know, that's kind of how it went. And obviously one thing led to another. And then it was like subsequently when I wanted things to continue and move and flourish and move on, I was kind of very shocked to find out that that's kind of not how a lot of people operate when going into things. And I had different expectations that weren't communicated, but I also didn't know his expectations either. When I had reassured him like, hey, this is like my first time, and it's a great experience. I thought it was fantastic, but then it was like the things that had happened subsequently where I was kind of left to dry in the wind with no like, I don't know, instruction manual on what to do next, of how I should feel, where my feelings need to go after feeling like a little bit inadequate when that person just kind of up and ghosted and didn't give me an explanation. And I was you know, very, let's call it passionate. I was very passionate about how I felt. And so there were some things that I said and did that just necessarily weren't, you know, in my moral realm. And I had to learn from that. And so I put it in a song, and this is really the outcome. Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock, okay? Don't even remember. This is the real part of composing, okay? Like, sometimes you forget stuff, and am I looking at anything in front of me? No, I'm literally looking out my window. I haven't written any of this stuff down, and it just kind of like comes to my head and just, Let's go through what each lyric kind of is. So pick up the phone, baby, I'm all alone. Obviously I was texting and being like, hey, aren't you answering all of a sudden? And asking to hang out and all this other stuff. And pick up the phone, baby, I'm all alone. Okay, so essentially was ghosted, and he was not answering, and I couldn't get any responses. So it obviously made me really upset, and I lashed out a lot, and I said some things that I was not very proud of. So pick up the phone, baby, I'm all alone. I don't condone my behavior, sick to the bone. It made me literally physically ill, because I was like, I've never acted out this way, and it doesn't make sense as to why I'm reacting such a way. But also not knowing that these are, the stages of grief that you go through when, that situationship, kind of ends and goes, and you feel like, you did something wrong after sleeping with someone for the first time. So pick up the phone, baby, I'm alone. I don't condone my behavior, sick to the bone. Feels like a tattoo, regret, no undo. I couldn't hit the reset button. I couldn't go back to the past and, kind of reconcile the things that I had said or some of the behaviors that I did following the encounter and the experience that I had with him. And I didn't regret the experience that I had necessarily with him, but I was regretting the faults that I made subsequent to the separation. So, regret, no undo. That's my cue to leave you. Once I start feeling like that, it's like, all right, Jordan, you've got to get out of that rut where you're thinking like that this is, your fault. You've done a bad thing, and now I'm beating up on myself about it. It's like, okay, well, when you start to feel those emotions, that's my cue. It's time for me to go. Oh, I think I called it my cue. The next ones go, you can't hear my cry. Didn't know this was our last goodbye. And that was because obviously I was very emotional about what had happened. And I remember the last day that I was in his bed, and I'm looking out the window, and I literally said to myself in that moment, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is literally it. Okay, there's going to be no more of this, and I know that this is going to be my last day. So it was very sentimental for me to add like that line where it was like, you can't hear how much I'm wailing over this situation. And even though I said I didn't know it was our last goodbye, I didn't want to come to the terms that it was going to be. So I kept kind of trying to like dox it down and be like, no, it's not. So didn't know it was our last goodbye. I'd run for miles and miles to say it one more time. I put that line in there because after that, this goes to the bad behaviors that I went through. I kissed somebody by the name of Miles who actually looked like the person that I had lost my virginity to. And so I added that in there because it just made me realize like men aren't shit, and I don't really want to disclose the reason why men aren't shit, but that person definitely committed some infidelity in that moment when we had touched lips. And so I was like, I'd run for miles and miles to say it one more time. Not because I necessarily wanted him or liked him, but it was just like, I don't know, the implication of what was going on in my life and who was also in that, like, around me at that moment. So I'd run for miles and miles to say it one more time. You bid me adieu, and now you're my muse, which was very true because after that, I started writing some of the best songs that came out of me, like, not being with that person, or like really nothing even coming out of, it wasn't even a relationship, it was a situationship. Hurts worse to me. I mean, I don't really know. I've never been in a relationship. I would have loved to, because I get bogged down for like 2 years after, and then I'm just like, I don't want to talk to anybody because I'm loyal to the man that's not my man who never you want to be in the first place. Anyway, so I'd run for miles and miles to say it one more time. You bid me adieu, and now you're my muse. That's my cue to leave you. So once I start writing songs about you, shout out Taylor Swift, I understand, okay? That's when it's time for me to go. I have to leave. I must. Where are we at? We're at this part. So hear my plea before I go back to East Tennessee. that part right there. Wait, what was sorry, sometimes I have like so hear my plea before I go back to East Tennessee, because this all happened my summer that I was getting ready to graduate. So it was senior year summer going into my senior year of college. And so I just remember being like, can you please, like, you know, can we reconcile this, or like have a meeting of the minds before I go back to school, which I went to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Go Vols. Go Vols. Sorry. That was definitely the wrong UT. This is the right one because we were here first. Okay. So yeah, hear my pleas before I have to go back to Knoxville. Like, please, I'm actually begging you. Was texting, I got blocked, definitely. We'll go into later songs where I get unblocked. They always come back. Before I go back to East Tennessee, what don't you see in me? Like, again, like having that question of inadequacy. Like, am I not enough? Was I not good enough? Did I not do this right? Did I not have sex right? Like, you know, all these things were just going through my head, just thinking like, God, like, what am I doing? What don't you see in me? My intuition didn't help me foresee. This was another thing that, I almost said their name. The person who I lost my virginity to, we had a conversation where I said that my intuition was fairly well. And that sometimes, like, I just know when things are going to happen, which is when I woke up that one morning, and I looked out the window. It was a beautiful sunrise, like 7 a.m. morning, like, meh. And I said, yeah, good things don't last. Good things don't last. So I was like, I guess my intuition didn't really, you know, come through this time like I wanted it to. Or, you know, I think I was ignoring my intuition the whole entire time. And just kind of thinking, like, this is all going to be fine and dandy. Intuition didn't help me foresee. But I guess the times that you were busy is when you ditched me. You ain't miss me, I was looking pretty. I had scheduled a coffee date with him, and he agreed, you know, to go. And that Thursday, as I had just gotten dressed, I had ordered this new, really cute blue and white dress. And he knew that we, again, had a conversation that I only wear black. I only wear very dark colors. And I told him, with the exception of the color blue. And so blue was very significant in his life. I'm not going to express why it was so significant, but I just remember everything was like my rings that I had, these 2 big rings that I usually wear on my middle fingers, which they're the same ones. They're this Davis ring from Kendra Scott, and they're huge. They were from the Sterling Silver collection, and they're dark blue, and they're lapis. That's the color. So I wore those lapis rings. I had like more gold rings, and I just had all this blue on. And so I dressed up so nice to go to this coffee date. Basically, to right before I left my house, because I said something says I should probably reach out and just make sure like this is still happening. And I text, and he basically says, "Oh, I'm too busy, like can't do it." And I was like, "You mean to tell me I was just about to leave my house like in 1 minute, and you didn't want to express that, like, you know, you couldn't make it, and I'm like about to be." It was just so, yeah. Okay, where were we in it? We're at, but I guess the times that you were busy, so you ditched me, you ain't miss me, I was looking pretty, and that's the way it goes. I wish I knew better to take it real slow, because I think I was definitely rushing the situation. And I was just kind of like thinking, like, you know, I could control everything, and it was going to be all fine and dandy again. And it, you know, it wasn't. And I was just like, I guess that's just kind of how things, like, you know, they think it's just, you know, a one and done. But it wasn't a one and done. I mean, this had gone through the summer, basically. I wish I knew better to take it real slow. So then it was like, I just got to the point where I said, now I'm at the hour of done. Okay, I don't even want to open myself up to anybody else. That's the new reason I can't trust anybody, because beforehand there were obviously implications of why I couldn't trust people, but I've never experienced it where, you know, now emotionally and physically I can't trust somebody, because it's like I just gave you my body thinking that you were going to hold, you know, precious to that and really take it in, but then in reality it's like, okay, that was not the case at all. So now I'm at the hour of done. That's a new reason I can't trust anyone. But the chase, I like it though. I'm so toxic, I just can't let you go. And so it was like, yeah, he didn't really want to talk to me, but it was just something about somebody not wanting me that just made me want them even more, and just keep trying to pursue that over and over and over again. Like, even though I said I was just done, but I was done trying to then go out and like do a whole fucking whole face. No, I was gonna stay loyal to a man who was not my man. Like, and oh God. I think I already said that once, but like that really was, you know, the feelings that I went through this whole entire process. So now I'm at the hour, I'm done. There's no reason I can't trust anyone. The chains I like, and though I'm so toxic, I just can't let you go. But it's not just me, got no hope for humanity. Love's no reality for this generation. See, this is what you all do now. This is what you all do. I still can't stand it. I can't. This generation fucking sucks at love. Holy cow. I mean, I don't even know how else to put it. I think the lyrics kind of speak for itself as to what is going on in our current society and how we view romance and love and how we treat each other. It's almost like we all have this fear of trust and fear to let somebody in, because our innate and animal senses now have shown us that we no longer have to feel shame around how we treat people or how we display things. And I'm not saying shame really needs to come back in, because I mean, honestly, it's really forgiveness that we should all try and garner for people, and instead of trying to express shame towards others. But you know, there's only so far that forgiveness can give you when people are doing you such a disservice. But it's like, how do we change that in a framework or in a society where we have perpetuated this cycle of abuse in good relationships? You know, people will self-sabotage a lot due to avoidance characteristics or anxious characteristics. And I feel like to then again put ourselves and subject ourselves to this two-party system of like, I think that's just bogging down everybody. It just creates expectations that everybody feels like, you know, that they have to uphold, or and sometimes those expectations obviously can't be met, so then they feel again that inadequacy comes showing through, and it's like relationships are just being torn down like these days. So or we're not even having relationships anymore. It's just basically a culture of a cycle and repeat, and just, you know, get in, get out, 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 get in, sorry, get in, get out, get in. So, you know, that's not something that I can just by myself fix, but it was something that I was able to put down in lyrics and say that this is a problem. This is a problem. And I think we should stop looking at it so fucking one-sided and just, you know, really communicate and have better conversations with each other so that we can avoid this lonely feeling, because it's no male loneliness epidemic, it's women as well. And it's not to blame one side or the other, but I think a lot of people are just struggling now. And is it hard? Is it easier said than done to basically tell people that you're struggling? Yes, 1,010%. I know for myself it's hard. That's why I go put it in a song. I put it in creative avenues, and I'm able to thusly like speak what I'm trying to say. Because most of the time I'm so bad at like coming up with things in my head or not that. I'm really bad at expressing how I feel. And I too get into those ruts where I'm saying the wrong things, but I mean something else. So now you've wasted my time feeding me these pretty lies. That's what it is. You've wasted my time feeding me pretty lies. So stuck in a trance because of your hazy eyes. Make me feel so blue. Make me feel so blue. Man, what did you do? Ba-na-na, na-na-na-na. That part was, I just feel like time is one of the most important aspects in honestly anybody's life, because you can never get back time. Now, I'm not saying, again, it wasn't something that I regretted, but it's like I could have put that energy and that space into something else. Instead, for 2 years, I got depressed and was sad and mopey and didn't want to go outside, touch grass, talk to people. I shut everybody out. I shut down. So it's not just you wasting time in the moment that it was, but it's like the moments after that. I wouldn't have felt this way for a while had you not done the things that you did. If we had communicated and you would have just told me, hey, I'm the type to just kind of like, we have a moment and then we move on, then I think I would have appreciated that a little bit more. But because you weren't forthright in what you were actually feeling, now I have to reap not even the benefit, but what's opposite of benefit? Whatever the opposite of benefit is. And insert word here. So, you wasted my time feeding me these pretty lies. Child, you sounded real good when you were talking. So smooth. So stuck in a trance because of your hazy eyes, because they were so pretty, so blue. And that's what I always remembered of him, because he was just such a pretty boy. Beautiful long eyelashes, these like ocean blue eyes, and I'll never have anything bad to say about him. I really don't. I actually do appreciate the times that we did have together, although limited. But it was a good time. So I got lost in the sauce. I did. I got lost in some of the nice things that you were saying, and that's okay. So I just got stuck in this trance. Now I feel so blue again. I got depressed again, and then it was like, why'd you do that? And that was my cue, and that was the background and why I wrote that song, how I wrote that song. I'm gonna keep and continue to do this with all the other songs that I've thusly written, and hope that this has some sort of outcome. Actually, I don't really even care about the outcome, but I would love to communicate with you guys in the comments and see how you guys have felt through situations similar to me. Maybe you guys have different outlets or creative muses or creative maybe you guys have creative aspects that you use as an outlet from situations like the one that I just went through. Like, do you have a muse? Is somebody from your past still your muse? Do you have a new muse? Alrighty, in order to spare your time, it is a pleasure for you taking the time to watch this or watch snippets or the whole piece of the video. I will be responding to anybody's comments, and I would love to hear feedback from all of you guys. I love each and every single one of you, whoever you are out there. You are going to be the reason why I'm going to try and do this you know, either once or twice a week. So I have to figure out the posting schedule of when I want to, you know, release the next things. And what I also said I was going to do at the end of each video that I post for like this week, at the end of each video, I'll put a snippet of the next song that you'll be able to hear, and what that kind of sounds like, aside from just the piano version of it. So if you want to stay till the end to hear just a small little instrumental of what you might see for